prohibited other than by state police, by state law.
Okay, and don't see Representative Greg Vitale, so I guess he's contacted us in support of this.
I've spoken with Greg about this particular ordinance. He asked me to put this together.
Okay.
Because we want our the Police Chiefs Association is fighting for this at the state level.
Okay.
For many years we've been trying to get this. And the big deal is, and I don't want to start any issues, but right now, the police cannot stop anyone for speeds. It has to be 11 miles over the
Right.
speed limit for us to write a ticket.
I understand that.
And with the radar, we can start stopping at 6 miles over the speed limit. So on a street that's 25 miles an hour, you can imagine that makes a big difference in how we can write tickets, stop people from speeding.
And when does Representative Vitale feel like this will happen? Is he is he doing this quickly?
Well, it's already, I mean, John, you want?
Has it already been presented?
It's been before the legislature for many occasions. The Chiefs of Police Association has gone before the legislatures. For some reason, never goes.
They won't do it.
So the movement is moving again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Thank
very
you.
long process.
Thank you.
Is there a movement among the House of Representatives to maybe consider it this time? I'm just curious.
There is a bill.
Okay.
There is a bill out
is
there
a-
now for,
Do we know when, or can we ask Greg when it comes up for the vote?
I can ask him, but I'm not sure,
No,
I'm not sure we know.
he's not in the majority, so he's
Okay.
not likely to know. Only work hard to find
Okay.
out.
Could we ask Mr. Makosi?
Throw this stuff in, it's really.
After January 1,
Tell him
we
to
can.
tweet it, so you get it.
Well,
I think he become,
we could ask him anyway. He could find out when it's scheduled.
okay. Please call the roll.
Mr. D'Amelio?
Absolutely.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McGarity?
No.
Mr. Connell?
Yes, I support the police on this.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mr. Heilman?
Yes.
And Mr. Oliva?
Yes. That's the first time I've heard an absolutely.
Oh, well, gee.
Go.
Made history
Number
tonight.
17, CDBG.
Let's go back to
Funny
Spano
was in
on
the
that one,
audience,
huh?
that's why I did it. I'll take it. Mr. President, motion to adopt resolution number 1909-2013, acknowledging that the Township of Haverford has received a Community Development Block Grant and is required to comply with Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act, and failure to enforce such policies may cause the Township of Haverford to lose its grant or eligibility for future grants, and that it is the policy of the township that excessive force by local law enforcement agencies shall not be used against individuals engaged in lawful and nonviolent rights demonstrations within the Township of Haverford boundaries.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yep. What are they really saying in that? What?
Jimmy, this is a part of housekeeping, Mr. McGarity, requirement. We're supposed to have this on file to be participating in the CDBG program. Part of our auditing, every once in a while, we go through our files. We found that this is not on file, and we can't locate it. So
That's good.
that's why this resolution's been reintroduced.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Mr. D'Amelio?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. McGarity?
Yes.
Mr. Connell?
Yes?
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mr. Heilman? And
Yes.
Mr. Oliva?
Yes. Continuation of citizens forum for non-agenda items. Anybody on this side would like to speak? Anybody on this side? Go ahead.
Guys, it's late. Thank you. My name's Allison Bousman. I reside at 5 Waverly Road. Thank you, guys. At the last commissioners' meeting in September, my opponent made claims that this is the greatest group of commissioners this township has ever seen, and that anybody who would want to change that is unwise. He is their leader, so I can understand him feeling that way. As I observed discussion of the library at last week's work session, I thought leaders don't patronize others who are looking down the road to a major issue by commenting that they simply do not have enough information. They provide what information they do have to their constituents. Second Ward residents that I have spoken with were widely unaware of our infrastructure needs. It is time for change and for a commissioner who will not only say she is a leader, but be one. If it were up to me, I would state my positions clearly and wouldn't change them or try to hide them merely because there is an election on the horizon. I would like to come out and agree with many of our commissioners. I agree with 3rd Ward Commissioner Jane Hall that women can contribute just as much on the Board of Commissioners. I agree with 4th Ward Commissioner Dan Siegel that we need to have equal treatment and opportunities for residents of all backgrounds and abilities. I agree with 6th Ward Commissioner Larry Holmes that we need to be fiscally responsible now more than ever. I agree with 9th Ward Commissioner Bill Wexler that we need to make significant improvements in our township's infrastructure now. Sometimes, like now, leadership on making the investment in the library is the responsible thing to do. While some commissioners clearly stated their views about the library, others did not. I did not agree with all the varying positions, especially the ones expressed today, but in spite of that, I respect their candor. So I will ask for a simple response, since we don't have a lot of time, from those who have not weighed in. Where does each commissioner stand on the future of a library, a new library, if fiscally feasible? Thank you, guys, for your time. And ladies.
Thank you. Okay. We don't have to.
It'd be like voting.
I mean,
Can't vote on anything.
I don't think we can, because it's like voting. And we don't have information that we need to make an intelligent decision on whether or not. Remember that everything that you're talking about is going to cost the taxpayers money. It's not going to just materialize. I'm not saying I'm against the library. I'm not saying that, but I think we're talking about everything that costs money. And you have to weigh that. We have to get the information and say, okay, if we do this tier, what does this cost? How much to the taxpayer if it goes here? If we do everything, what does that cost? And we haven't, at least I haven't seen anything yet. So to make a decision and for us to poll the board is almost like voting now. We don't have, it's not hiding. This board never has hid anything. This board is, I don't think Larry would make us hide it. If you know Larry Holmes, he's not going to sit there and let us hide it.
Well, if I could just weigh in 1 second, if you want to look, I support the library. Simple as that. Where it should go, I think that'll be determined when we have the information before us. But to make a decision before that time is not responsible.
Exactly.
Well,
without having, excuse me,
My family is
Without
part of the
having-
library.
without
We
having-
enjoy it, so there's my
having the
standpoint on it.
I don't mean to talk over you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish.
I'm saying is that my family has been members of the library, have volunteered at the library. We've been a part of it for years. It is a great place. And whether it's going to move or stay there, we will see when all the information is put before us. But I do support the library, believe it or not.
Okay,
One more thing.
Let me speak a second. I do support the library. I support it. I have talked with Christine many times. We have talked about it. Making a decision without all the information is irresponsible. It is irresponsible. When we are spending taxpayers' dollars, it is unbelievably irresponsible to take a position on something that you don't have the right information on. I support the library at its location. I support it moving to a new location. Whatever we come up with, there is a lot of things. We're talking about parking. Nobody knows. We have 18 or 17 parking spots in the library. If we go to the new location and we have more spots at that location, there are no guaranteed spots for the library. So on a day where there's football or baseball being played at this field, there will be no parking for the library. 0 dedicated spots for the library. These are issues that we have to talk about. Okay? Go ahead, Bill.
I would like, this is a decision-making meeting, and while I enjoy the candidate against you to coming up here, I'd advise everybody, let's tune in for Tuesday night next week and watch the debate and let you two guys discuss it then, and let's get on with the meeting here.
Okay, that sounds good,
Wait a
Bill.
minute.
Well,
one more thing, because
Hold
it
on.
was
Yeah.
about the whole board now.
there's no doubt that there are issues there. I was in the basement, and there are issues. So no one's, certainly I'm not denying it. There are issues there.
I agree, but
Yeah.
the question tonight is.
And we're
this
not
is
saying
a-
that there's not. So
For
to
better
say
or worse,
that-
we all go through this every
Bill,
4
let me
years.
finish, Bill.
Yeah.
You talk. Let me finish. Because
You
this
interrupted me, so-
just wasn't
I
about,
want to weigh in after you're done. Go
wasn't
ahead.
about just Bill.
Mr. D'Amelio has the
Vote.
floor. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
I mean, I'm sorry, Mario.
Mr. D'Amelio.
Ben?
Okay, so I don't think to say that, we're not weighing in on does not mean we don't support you, okay? Clearly, there are issues there. I was down the basement there. I don't know who was there with me. Several of the commissioners were. Quite frankly, I was stunned by what I saw. But once again, it's not, because we're not saying anything. I mean, we've said all along, meeting after meeting, the steps that were taken. The property committee came up with suggestions. They're still looking at it. They even said, your colleagues even said that they were torn. And then you come here and to me, it's like you've insulted the board. That's how I feel. I'm going to be, want honesty? You made it a political issue right now. And it is not. It is not amongst this board with these guys. It never is.
Okay.
Can I just state, now wait a minute, I just found something out tonight by the people from the audience speaking, and I only want to say one thing, since everybody, a lot of people feel I'm anti-library. But the library has been in the 7th Ward at Darby and Mill Road for 79 years. I just want you to know, I support the library at Darby and Mill Road for another 79 years. That's my feeling, Jimmy McGarity, okay? I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Anybody else?
Mr. President?
Hold on. Finish the citizens forum, right?
Well, no, after everybody's finished beating up on Allison, I'd just like to say something right now, and that is this. Any citizen can come up here anytime and ask everybody on this board what they think about a position, okay? I can tell you right now, I'll spend $1 zillion on a library and I'll build it on the moon. That doesn't mean anything, other than I've stuck my neck out to say that someday when action is before us, I might act in a way consistent with the positions I've taken. So we can't get mad at a member of the public, whether they're running for office or not, who comes up and says, I'd like to know how the Board of Commissioners feel about these issues. We do that every day here, whether we're voting on an issue or whether we're just politicking about what we do.
It's different.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
different at all. You ran for office once. I ran for office once.
Excuse me, we have more people who want to talk.
None of
And I
that
believe
kind
there
of
was
stuff.
accusations of me cutting people off because we did not have
Right.
the thing. It wasn't
That's
a
the
question of
part.
asking
Don't do it.
commissioners questions. Please, you had the
right
floor.
now-
I gave you the floor. Let
Oh,
me
yeah, but
finish.
I didn't yield it back. I started getting interrupted by you. I started getting yelled at by this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now in Washington, D.C.
Any member of the public can get up and ask us what our position is.
Yeah, we're not getting paid, they
offended by
are.
that. I mean, that's, if you don't like what the person
If
says,
that was the question that
combat
was
it.
asked, I would not be offended at all.
I think he's
more
next
offended at
person,
the fact
position,
that-
heal thyself.
Next person, please.
Oh.
Yeah, my name is Maria Pardini. I live at 815 Woodland Drive, and I am not running for office. And I would just like to thank Commissioner Oliva. I'm a member of the 2nd Ward, and I would like to thank him and the rest of the Board of Commissioners and the police or whomever else helped them to install the crosswalk at near Woodland Drive and Manoa Road, and the lights outside of Sacred Heart School where my children cross every day. So thank you very much for that. And also I'd like to thank Commissioner Oliva for his work with Congressman Meehan's office to remediate some of the flooding issues that are apparent on Woodland Drive. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Hardworking guy.
There you go. I do my job. Anybody else? Okay, let's go to new business.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just make an announcement. There's a dedication of the Darby Creek Trail on Sunday, October 20th, 2 p.m., Mary Place.
I'm sorry, you're on other business.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, can I get clarification?
Thought you were on
All
other
that yelling,
business,
and I
yeah.
don't know where I am. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, so we have,
I would have some new, I do have some new business I'd
Okay.
like to discuss.
why don't you go ahead and discuss your new business?
This is not in the nature of us acting tonight, but we do have to act. Now that, not now that Commissioner Heilman a minute ago mentioned the state representative who, as of January 1, is going to represent part of Haverford Township, which brings up the notion of reapportioning the districts of Haverford Township. That is a word in the past that has been treated like a four-letter word, but it is something we need to do every decade. This one has taken longer than usual, in part because of how long it took for the state to get its reapportionment plan approved. That's over with. We have census numbers, and it does fall on this board to do its duty and reevaluate our ward boundaries to try to equalize the populations to the extent that there's been any shifts in the demographics of Haverford Township. So I would recommend before the next meeting that we contact the professionals who assisted us in the last reapportionment, and I mean the one we ultimately passed in 2005 or 2006, and start that process for Haverford Township.
Okay. Can I just? Okay.
What do you want?
No, I was talking to Jeff.
President.
Let me just say we have had Jeff's going to talk about it in a second under new business. We had two applications for billboards, one at 1200 Westchester Pike,
Right.
and we had another application made at 510 to 532 Westchester Pike, and
Who were those applications made to?
they were made to the zoning. Lori, you want to speak about?
Why are we talking about it?
Because we're gonna, it's under new business.
It's under new
So we need
business.
we need to get approval from the board
Jim
to
Byrne.
get Jim Byrne to get involved.
Yeah, we have to ask again, even though it's the same person, all that, it's a different company. Yeah,
It's not
It's a
big?
different company.
It's not big?
No, it's
it's
not, but it is.
company, it has
automatic
some
standard.
common ownership.
No,
Same
we
owner of
don't.
the company,
Automatically.
but different company.
It's only afterwards if we have to decide whether to appeal it. But we don't have to take official action.
No,
for
it's
Jim
like we
Byrne
did
to
the first
represent
The
time.
zoning
Yeah.
board, we do.
Just so
Yeah,
the
most
zoning
certainly.
board-
To represent our
Yeah, we
interests
do.
there.
Yes, we
Wait,
do.
it's going to go
We
before
did
the
last
Send him
time.
As
to
before.
represent the township's
Yeah.
interest at the zoning board hearing.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the same as before.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. You can read it, Jeff.
Okay. Well, I will read it now. I want to ask my fellow commissioners, support directing Mr. Byrne to enter his appearance on the record now and take any and all necessary action on the same legal challenge to the validity of the township sign regulation. The township successfully defended against the zoning hearing in the 5 other properties. It's in regards to 2 other applications, both in the 2nd ward. The applications were sent into the township solicitor from the zoning officer because it was filed from the same attorney for a corporation represented by the same individual with what appears to be the same legal argument that they tried before in front of the zoning hearing board. And that matter is now pending in Common Pleas Court. So I'd like to know if we could have Mr. Byrne go and represent us and our interests.
I'll second that.
And if we can discuss this, the point I was making is this is a challenge to our ordinance. This isn't a request for a variance or some other. They're directly attacking the ordinance. I believe our solicitor is already authorized to defend any ordinance of this township that's challenged in the zoning board or any other place that has the authority to. Remember, we were doing 2 things. In the previous case, we had a challenge to the ordinance, but we also had an issue about the health, safety, and welfare, didn't we? Of
It's the same,
township?
Right.
it's the same.
That's all
thing.
part and parcel of the same thing, though,
Right.
in essence.
Do we need
It's appropriate because you have new applications to direct your solicitor to oppose the challenge in front of the zoning board.
And if we don't oppose the challenge, have we lost the standing to
No.
defend our ordinance?
No, but you lose the opportunity to put on evidence at
Right.
the
That was the
hearing.
whole thing.
Remember, you're making a record. Now, it's very possible that a lot of the record will take testimony from the previous hearing and try to incorporate that. But all zoning decisions are made and appeals are made based on the record that's established before the zoning hearing board. So, I mean, that's where you're trying the case. That's where you try the case first.
I understand that. My concern right now is that I'm not convinced that we have to authorize anything in advance for Mr. Byrne to appear, for your office to appear on our behalf when they're challenging one of our ordinances. And I'm concerned that if we do that now, we are requiring ourselves to do this every time anything comes before the zoning board, and we haven't done it every time. And I just want to make sure we act consistently.
Well, I do think the town, whenever you send your solicitor to participate in a zoning hearing, you
have.
do take action.
We do take a vote.
We have, and
We always
they-
have.
Yeah, we always have.
Because the solicitor's office in Haverford and all townships basically does not routinely go to the zoning board.
But they have
Township
their own-
Right,
doesn't-
no, I
they-
get
their
that.
own
It
lawyer.
doesn't routinely go. My question is, but it can. Isn't there any challenge before a zoning board about a challenge to an ordinance? Doesn't the township have automatic standing as a party to that? And the
Well, the
solicitor can
township
appear on
always
behalf?
has automatic standing, but it's the usual and customary procedure if you're going to participate to direct
Right,
your
and
solicitor.
I'm not
to go.
asking you if it's the usual customer procedure. I'm asking you whether it's a requirement.
Well, you asked me if you have standing. You do have standing. yes.
Okay, and is it a requirement that we act officially and authorize our township solicitor to go and appear on our behalf?
If you want the solicitor, I would say yes. In order for the solicitor to go and take a formal position, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is that it? All right, let's call the roll.
Mr. D'Amelio?
My second absolutely for the day.
Wow.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
That was for Wayne.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
McGarity?
Yes.
Mr. Connell?
Yes?
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mr. Heilman?
Absolutely.
And Mr. Oliva?
Yes.
That's three absolutely.
Positively.
There you go.
Wow, I'm going to get a positively soon.
For the first time.
Okay. Any other new business?
And
There being none? Other business?
Other business?
Commissioner
Thank you.
D'Amelio.
Dedication of the Darby Creek Trail, Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m. at Mary Place. Trail lovers are invited to join in the dedication of the 1.2-mile improved section of the trail from Mary Place to Old Hilltop Road. The improvements were funded with a grant from the William Penn Foundation. Light refreshments and a guided walk will follow. So,
All you have?
that's it for new business, other business. Oh, wait. Sorry. I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm a little off tonight. I apologize. Making Larry happy out.
Who's Larry? Shooting
we-
fish in a barrel.
We talked about the zoning hearing board and this challenge again. Once again, I notified Sandy Donato, who's a community activist in my ward, who worked tirelessly to try to assist the township in many ways to keep the community involved. She attended many meetings throughout the county. She was quite shocked and saddened, but she's going to do what she did in the past. So if anybody has any questions, certainly if you have Sandy's email, reach out to her. If you need for me to be the go-between, I'll certainly give her your messages. The second thing is the EMTs. We talk about the police a lot, but all of our emergency services, the EMTs and the firefighters and volunteers do a tremendous job in protecting the residents and in all kinds of weather and storms and conditions. So I applaud all of them, including the fire police, who really never get recognized as well. My other question is, we talked a lot about traffic today. I'm going back to Eagle Road. When are we going to get an update on the bus stop at Eagle and Maryland? Can you guys tell me what's going on with that? Is it being held up?
The SEPTA stop.
The SEPTA stop at Eagle and Maryland?
Good Lord. Oh, she's probably so tired.
Residents in my first ward meeting were questioning that back then, and I promised them.
Yeah, I've gotten calls too, to Steve.
Yeah, I mean, we need to, what do we need to do to get them to move it? It seems to me it was quite fast that they were able to do it, but they can't move it.
The deputy chief prepared a report of the accidents on that stretch of Eagle Road, which we forwarded to Fran Kelly at SEPTA, who indicated that he would submit the information to whoever designed the route and get back to us with an update. We've not received an update, and I did follow up with an email today after I received your inquiry.
Yeah, and that's very disappointing because we talk about people getting killed, and that street has had a fatality. It's likely to happen again. I'm concerned about a bus going up on somebody's pavement or cars trying to go around them there. I mean, that's only, to me, is only a matter of time. I think they need to act, and act quickly. It's not that difficult. Take it off of the street. Take it off of Eagle and Maryland. Just take it off. I don't understand why it's such a delay. It's a disgrace.
Well, I think the bigger question, Steve, is how did the route get reestablished and come down Eagle Road? Because they're supposed to hold hearings and let the neighbors know, and then the neighbors have a right to come out and
Well, they did it on
discuss it.
Glendale. They did
But
it
I'm
on-
just saying, we're talking Eagle Road. I don't want to hear Glendale right now.
No, I
you
know. But do they notify the township when they're going to do that?
Well,
Do
they're
they tell-
supposed to have a hearing,
Yeah.
and that's the way it's supposed to work,
Okay, so
right?
we've contacted Frank Kelly. Give him a call and put the screws to him. Okay?
I'll see if I can expedite a report.
There you go. Commissioner Hall.
Done.
You
I said
good?
done, yeah.
On a lighter note, I'd like to just thank Gene Angel and the tree tenders for everything that you do and getting out. And it's not easy. I did go out there. I'm kind of a lightweight. I can't really dig holes that well, but I tried. My tree died, but I want to thank you for everything that you do and for organizing so much that's going on within this community. And I'd like to thank Larry Gentili because so much of the beautification that's gone on, it really makes such a huge difference. And it's lovely to drive by. And it makes everybody feel good. And it's these little things that make a community feel whole and complete. And the Haverford Green actually won the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society award for the Triangle Garden, which really is lovely. And I know you worked with them tirelessly on that, Larry, and I appreciate it. I really do. And Jean as well. So I like all those little housekeeping things. They make our community great, and all of you do that for us. So thank you.
All right. Commissioner
For
Siegel?
me.
Thank you. Just briefly, I just want to thank the various township officials who were at my constituent meeting. And since we've brought up Eagle Road, and since I hear about it all the time, and my office is there, I see it all the time with the congestion. The township and the engineers and the Y are still working to deal with the intersection, the timing of the lights. So I have to ask people to be patient. I know it can be difficult, but they are working on it. The other thing, there were a couple of other traffic issues that came up at the meeting, and I'm going to be going around to neighbors because the police have recommended some changes in stop signs, speed limits. It's parking at the area of Tyson, Fairmont Circle, and Lawrence, which is a very hectic and congested intersection, particularly in the mornings when Lawrence backs up all the way to Linwood. So they are working on it, but before we propose that here, I want to make certain that the residents have a consensus that they want those changes, because there are some, interesting changes in terms of it. So I want them to know. It was in my newsletter that went out this week, but I'll also be meeting with them in the near future. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Holmes?
Mr. President, thank you. I want to thank Deputy Chief Viola and Lieutenant Hagan and Larry Gentili for coming to a constituent meeting last week in the 6th Ward. It was a good meeting, and I think Deputy Chief Viola said it's the first meeting he's had in the 6th Ward where they didn't have a single question for the police department or a single complaint about the traffic. So congratulations to you, John and Joe, for your outstanding preemptive work before that meeting. Between now and the next commissioner meeting, we will hold a municipal election here in Haverford Township. There are 4 current members of this board who are up for re-election. So I'll say what I say every year on the eve of Election Day, and that is, if you care about this township and if you care about where it's going or where it's been or what it's doing, the thing you have to do is vote that day. And vote if you like somebody, vote if you want to replace somebody, but vote and make your voice heard and make a difference in your township. And I trust everybody in the 6th Ward knows who in the 6th Ward has my unqualified support. As far as the others, I will leave that for a more political event taking place next week. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, I have one thing. The Saint Stomp, which is a 5K run and 1 mile fun walk, is Saturday, October 19th at 9 a.m. at St. Coleman John Newman. Registration starts about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and raises money for the school. So please, if you're a runner or a walker, head on up. Thank you.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes, thank you, Mario. I got quite a few on here.
Oh, boy.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Testa's Bakery. Lou Testa's been down on Brookline Boulevard for 30 years, and he has a sign up to all the business people and all the people that come into Testa's that thank you very much for your loyal support. Also, at the stadium, the O'Kanes have taken over as new owners of the restaurant inside the stadium. So stop down, visit the O'Kanes for bacon and eggs or whatever, and enjoy yourself there at the stadium. Let me just say that Mr. Connell and I went to the ALS Billy Lake tournament over at Haverford College, which was very successful again. I don't know how many years it's been. I've been in it about 19 years, and it really is a great fundraiser for Billy Lake, who died of the ALS disease, and it's they go on year after year, and I know there's some of us commissioners who supported their cause. Also, Lanark Fire Company had their 100th anniversary at the Radnor Hotel, and I want to tell you, they had Chico's Vibes there, a local Haverford Township group, who I believe are also friends of Larry Holmes, right, Larry? And they were excellent. And I'll tell you, they had everybody up enjoying themselves and having a great time. And I got to give Chris Connell and the many members of Lanark, they did a great job. It was one of the better banquets that I've been through, truthfully. And then finally, I just want to say, like Larry said, everybody come out and vote the wishes of your, how you feel a person has done. If he's done a good job and he's worked hard for you, vote for him. And if you feel he hasn't, then don't vote for him. But you should come out and vote. That's the privilege we have in this country. It's certainly a privilege that we don't really enjoy that much because we don't understand what communism is really about. But we don't have communism here, and go out and enjoy what you can do. Thank you.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes, everybody on Saturday, October 19th from 5 to 8 at the Grange, come down to the Carriage House where they'll have the Harvest Moon Cafe and chili cook-off contest. Enter your recipe of chili there, and they'll be glad to serve it up, and it's about $20 a person. They'll have music. It's a very enjoyable night. Also, well, you talked about the Darby Creek. Talked about the tree tenders. East Manoa Road and Heatherwood. We've had a application for quite some time for traffic calming measures. That is still coming. My understanding is it was Commonwealth budgetary issues.
Got lost in the funding, it's still scheduled for the next one.
Yes. So Manoa and Heatherwood over the years has had some terrible accidents. And we put in for traffic calming measures there. So they were scheduled for last year around October, and it's not that it was neglected. Unfortunately, due to budgetary reasons, it was pushed off, and it's supposed to be actually sometime this month or next. So I'm hoping that will be up shortly. In the 8th Ward, the 8th Ward also has, they're going back, the 4th Precinct is going back to the former synagogue, which is the Trinity Christian Church of Greater Philadelphia, the 560 Mill Road. They voting poll 8-4 will be back there. I want to thank the Surrey Services at the former Brookline School for the past couple of years for allowing us to use their facility at 8-1 and 8-4. It's a very small room that we have there, and they were very gracious. The senior center was very gracious for them to do that. Other than that,